What's going on? This is Samok for Samok Fit, checking in with you guys. You guys are doing well, doing terrific, and we are back with another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking you guys through my shoulder workout. Again, I've been covering a lot of the training program that I'm doing right now, and this is my first week of this new block. So I thought, why not I just take you guys through what I'm doing to build some giant delts. Why should you care about building delts? The same reason you should care about building any muscle group, really. It makes you look good, it makes you look good. Particularly when it comes to shoulder, if you care about competing, shoulder kind of gives you that illusion of width. You know, you have the cap delts. When you are standing next to somebody seeing you, that's one of the few things that they are seeing. I figure why not, you know, take you guys through, show you some of the things that I like to implement on my shoulder workout, some things that I need to focus on, and give you some tips, apply those, and give you some nuance, detail as far as what kind of movements, what kind of training selection I'm doing, or why I'm choosing to do a specific movement to build stronger. Ooh, looking juicy today. Stronger delts. So without further ado, let's get into that, of course. Before we get into the training, shoulder mobility first. Going to be the shoulder mobility routine. You want to make sure you are taking care of your mobility routine or pre-workout mobility, just like any other body part, right? But especially when it comes to shoulders, because shoulder is one of the most fluid. It's got the most range of motion or out of any joints that you have in your body. If you go on Google right now and you search what is the most common injury people typically sustain in the gym, it's going to be shoulder related. If you're watching this video right now, comment below if you've had any sort of shoulder mobility injury. That should be a lot of you guys, including myself. So when you take care of it, it's going to take care of you just like any other body part. You got the pre-workout flowing in right now, the BPN flight going into our system. Again, I appreciate everybody that's been shopping through the link. It will be in the description if you want to support your boy. Without further ado, let's build some massive delts. I'm sorry I did that. I'll never do that again. So the first movement that we are going to be doing is going to be the Viking press. So in the previous training program that I did, I was using Smith machine, but it got to a point where, you know, I cannot increase my performance on that. And that's typically a good sign that you need to swap your movement out. So you don't need to swap your movement every week. If you are on a good training program, you shouldn't be swapping your training, your exercises every week. But in this case, I'm swapping that out with a Viking press. I love this movement also, by the way, but I'm swapping that because I've maximized what I can do with a Smith machine. The reasons why I like the Viking press also, it mimics an OHP without taking the stability and the difficulty level of an OHP, and kind of just spare you and actually allow you just to focus on the delts. Almost like the same argument, for squats, for instance, right? If you are squatting, you know, barbell movements might not be the best in terms of high stimulus, low fatigue. This is not going to fatigue my lower back out because it's a machine that's fixed in a position. So it's allowing me to get a little more stimulus, not a lot of fatigue. The big reason why I like the Viking press, especially this machine, I mean Atlantis alone, you guys know how much I rave about Atlantis equipment. The reason why I like this particular movement is because of the handle, right? I can go a little bit more of a neutral grip or supinated grip or pronated or supinated grip, a little bit wider on this one, a little bit closer on this one. So you have like 3 different variations you can play with, especially if you have like shoulder issues, and maybe like different grips kind of gives you a little more of a shoulder, like, you know, impingement or pain. You can kind of mess around with that. So, I mean, pro tip here is, you know, you don't have to do OHP to get stronger shoulders. You don't have to do dumbbell press to get stronger shoulders. You can use some machines too, because the goal of any movement that you are trying to do is to get as much stimulus as possible and limit the amount of fatigue that you are going to be generating. So we just finished with this. Again, 3 sets, 10 to 12. On to the next movement. The next movement is going to be upright row, dumbbell upright row. In the previous mesocycle, I was using easy bar upright row. And again, I think one of the misconceptions a lot of people have is one of the about upright row is bad for your shoulder. And like I said earlier in the video, dexterity of the shoulder is super high, meaning you have a lot of ROM, a lot of range of motion, so they can move through. So don't demonize a movement for your lack of mobility. If you have more poor mobility, work on your mobility. But don't say, yes, upright row is bad for you, or it's bad for your shoulder. It's not bad for your shoulder. You just lack mobility. So work on your mobility instead of blaming the movement. So upright row is a great movement if you're trying to build, nice cap delts. And if you cannot do maybe a bar row, yes, you will have to work with different hand placement that's comfortable enough for your shoulder, or you can go as high as possible that's comfortable enough for your shoulder. And if you cannot find a good hand place movement, one of the best tips I can offer for you is use what I'm doing right now, which is the dumbbell variation, because it doesn't keep you in a fixated position, allows you to kind of just move that shoulder around to a point that it's not really going to be detrimental to your shoulder joint. So movement, 3 sets, dumbbell upright row. Upright rows and movements like this, I like to do them in a high rep range, the 12 to 15 rep range. So this one's going to be 3 sets, 12 to 15 rep ranges. The next movement is going to be cable front raises, superset with a face pull. So a little background information here. I rarely do a direct front delt movement. But I limit the amount of pressing movement that I'm doing, like incline pressing movements, just because I want to, pay a little more attention to my front delts. So that's why for now, that's why maybe the first time in a long time, I'm actually including some sort of like direct front delt movement. And a great way for you, especially if you are limited for time, you can superset movement. So that's why we are supersetting face pull with a front delt. So almost like an antagonistic sort of movement, like posterior and anterior sort of movement. So front delt, 3 sets, front delt cable raises, single arm front delt cable raises, superset with a face pull, 3 sets, 12 to 15. Finished that complex superset. Again, if you press for time, looking for ways to add a little more intensity into your shoulder training, your training in general, using things like an antagonistic type of supersets, anterior to posterior, triceps to biceps. So those are the things. Those are some of the techniques that you can definitely use to, one, if you're limited on time or you're trying to add a little more intensity to your training. For me personally, I'm using it because, one, I'm limited on time because I typically train during my lunch break, and at the same time, I'm trying to add some intensity into my shoulder training too, because I'm prioritizing them during this block. So we're finished with front delts and rear delts, and now we are going to be attacking arms. So that will wrap up the shoulder workout. That is my current training program. And I just finished doing a preacher curl just because, one, I like, again, Atlantis machine are great movements. My first training session at the beginning of the week, I have some sort of mid-range cable curls into that movement. Tricep for me is not a problem at all, as you can see. Tricep is typically overpowering my bicep, so I reduce the volume that I'm training on tricep and I increase the volume of my bicep because I'm trying to grow them too. So I love that. Again, it's a rep range because the machine, I like to train them in the 12 to 15 rep ranges for me to actually get a good amount of stimulus into that. So overall, that is going to be the conclusion of my shoulder workout. If you like this video like this, comment below. If there's any other body parts you want me to cover, put the comment in the comment section, let me know, and I'll make sure I put that video together for you guys. This is Samok of Samok Fit, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.